Today's scripture reading is Matthew chapter 5, verses 1 through 12, the Beatitudes. When Jesus saw the crowds, he went up the mountain, and after he sat down, his disciples came to him. Then he began to speak and taught them, saying, Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they will receive mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you when people revile you and persecute you and utter all kinds of evil against you falsely on my account. Rejoice and be glad, for your reward is great in heaven. For in the same way they persecuted the prophets who were before you. The word of God for the people of God. Thanks be to God.
We say we're blessed kind of regularly, or at least I hear that often. We say it when we have a meal before us. We say we're blessed. When maybe we get the parking spot that we wanted, we say we're blessed. We say we're blessed when we are particularly aware of the freedoms that we have. We say we're blessed after a good, satisfying day, when we realize the friends around us. We bless our children. We bless our friends. We bless our country. What does it mean to be blessed? This passage of the Beatitudes in Matthew, which is the start of the Sermon on the Mount, I have read it once a day for the past 2 weeks. I've read this passage in English and in Spanish. I've read this passage in the U.S. and I've read it in Cuba. I've read this passage hearing roosters crow and hearing sirens blare. I've read this passage in good, hopeful moods and in moods of lament and rising despair. What was Jesus talking about in the beginning of this sermon? We find here Jesus who in the previous chapter had called his disciples, those who would follow him and learn from him, those who would emulate him. And Jesus who proceeded to begin proclaiming the good news of the kingdom of God and to heal the crowds that came from all throughout Syria. And then we arrive at this chapter, where it tells us that crowds continue to gather as they hear of Jesus and they come from all around. And an interesting thing happens that we see in Matthew and we'll notice a little later, but suddenly there's a parallel between Jesus and Moses. As Moses went up to Mount Sinai in Exodus, he went up and that's where he heard the law from God. It tells us that Jesus went up to the mount. And the disciples were courageous enough to follow him up to receive his teaching. Now, I want to give a disclaimer. He was beginning to teach, and it tells us he came up and he went up to teach, but Jesus wasn't simply a great teacher, right? It's important that we not forget that the one who preaches the sermon is not just a good teacher, but the Son of God, the Messiah who is making all things new. And the reason I note that is because making all things new actually has a lot to do with this passage. Even today, and also in the day of the original sayings of this, perhaps these words strike us as pretty, right? As poetic. Very nice words. But probably also impossible, even irrelevant. Blessed are the peacemakers, the merciful. Even given the definitions of how we often relate to the word blessed that we mentioned moments ago, we think of the blessing as those who are on top, right? Blessings of those who succeed, or blessings are those who have an abundance and are powerful. That's how you know you're blessed, right? Because you have a full stomach and you're in good position with people. I am blessed, right? The thought of being merciful, meek, humble, someone who does not do violence in our culture of fear and competition seems to be the opposite of something that will get you somewhere good. It sounds like something that will get you ridiculed or killed. But regardless of how the world would be different if we all practice these, which I think we would all agree that if we all practice these, the world would be different, right? Regardless of that, Jesus is doing something even beyond giving us this list of cause and effect. He isn't saying if you do this, you'll get this exactly. He's doing something much more interesting. The word blessed is sometimes translated as wonderful news. And part of the point is that what God is saying as he begins the sermon is wonderful news. God is acting in and through Jesus to turn the world upside down, to turn Israel upside down, to pour out lavish blessings on all who now turn to him and accept the new thing that he is doing. Remember I said he is making all things new? This is how he starts. He is not offering a list of the people he normally blesses. He is announcing God's new covenant. So remember I said that there was a parallel to Moses because Moses goes up a mountain to receive the law and to tell people the law. There's a couple other parallels to Moses that happen in Matthew. Matthew, this is chapter 5, right? So Matthew has shown us Jesus coming out of Egypt in chapter 2. Remember, this is where we see that Jesus had to leave. He was being persecuted by King Herod, and his family became refugees in Egypt. We see in chapter 2 that he comes out of Egypt. We see that he goes through the water and the wilderness in chapters 3 and 4 and into the land of promise in chapter 4. And here is the parallel when we get the new covenant. Now, why is this important? You have to remember that the law, that Moses, that was essentially the gospel of the Old Testament. That was the part of the covenantal relationship. And here comes the new covenant. Jesus is not sitting up on the mount simply to tell people how to behave properly. God is proclaiming a kingdom that has come that is upside down from the rest of the world. Here's an analogy that I found that I thought kind of painted it in an interesting way. So many years ago, there was a dramatic movie about the first test pilots to break the sound barrier. No plane had ever flown faster than the speed of sound. Many people didn't even believe it was possible. Some thought the plane would disintegrate under the forces that would be generated. And eventually, in the movie, various pilots took their planes over the magic figure of 735 miles per hour. And then only to have the planes disintegrate with the huge vibrations, or they would crash. The controls, it seemed, refused to work properly once the plane came to the sound barrier. And finally, at the climax of the movie, another test pilot figured out what to do. It seemed that when the plane broke the sound barrier, the controls began to work backwards. Pulling the stick to make the plane bring its nose up sent it downwards instead. Greatly daring, he flew to the same speed, and at the critical moment, instead of pulling the stick back, he pushed it forwards. That would normally send the plane into a dive, but his hunch had been correct. The nose came up and the plane flew on fast and free, faster than anyone had traveled before. Now, the story is not entirely historically accurate, as often movies are. Chuck Yeager, the first human to move faster than the speed of sound in real life, was often asked whether he'd done it the way it's shown in the movie, but he insisted it wasn't like that. However, the story gives a graphic illustration of what Jesus is doing in these apparently simple words. He is taking the controls and making them work backwards. The only explanation seems to be that he thinks he is taking God's people through the sound barrier, taking them somewhere they've never been before. The one thing most people know about planes going through the sound barrier is that you hear a loud explosion, right? Many of Jesus' contemporaries would have said that this was a good picture of the effect that he had with these words. The kingdom of God that Jesus was ushering in, the one that in the next chapter he prays and teaches us to pray that it may come on earth as it is in heaven, the one that the church in all its existence has been called to live into and to bring about, is one of upside down values. Upside down because they are at odds with the values of the world. The world tells us to protect ourselves and what is ours. And the kingdom of God calls us to welcome radically and uncomfortably. The world tells us to be violent. And the kingdom calls us to do the hard work of making peace. The world tells us to seek power and importance and privilege. And the kingdom calls us to humility and emptying of ourselves. The world tells us to value winning and defeating others and being better. And the kingdom calls us to forgiveness, even before we're asked for it. The world tells us to be the best, and the kingdom calls us to be the least. They are dueling kingdoms, which become more and more distinguished, and both of which claim our allegiance and our following. As I said earlier, we look at these words, blessed are the peacemakers, blessed are the merciful, as pretty and poetic and maybe impossible. Maybe they're only for special people. Maybe they're only for pastors. Or maybe just for people like Martin Luther King or Dorothy Day or Desmond Tutu. They are for some people. You know, that's some people's thing is that, but that's not for all people. That's not my thing. But we see here that they are actually for all who would follow Christ up the mountain and sit at his feet. All who would call themselves disciples. All who would call themselves Christians. Again, Wright mentions that, follow me, Jesus said to his first disciples. Because in him the living God was doing a new thing. And this list of wonderful news is part of his invitation, part of his summons, part of his way of saying that God is at work in a fresh way, and that this what it looks like. Jesus is beginning a new era for God's people and for God's world. The sermon is the reality of the new age made possible in time. The sermon is not a list of requirements, but a description of the life of a people gathered by and around Jesus. One of the things that has kept coming into my mind, having just come from Cuba, is the realization that early Christians in the time of Jesus, and in the first few hundreds of years, to be a Christian required exceptional conviction. It was not easy. It required sacrifice. And still today, I would say in places like Cuba, or China, or Syria, to be a Christian requires exceptional conviction. In more obvious ways, maybe, than we realize, that still today for us, to be a Christian requires exceptional conviction. The courage to be a Christian in the world that continually screams at us things that are counter to the kingdom of God requires exceptional conviction. A world that tells us that those who are blessed, or maybe those who look like us, or have like us, world that maybe has a list of those who are blessed and those who are not. And Jesus comes and turns it upside down and said, "My blessing is for all of you." How is God turning your world upside down? And if you find that God is not turning your world upside down, I would sit with that even longer. Because God longs to turn your world upside down. To be a Christian in this day and age will require exceptional conviction, will require great discomfort, will require us to say these words that said, "Blessed are those who are persecuted, as the prophets were persecuted, those who spoke counter to what the world was proclaiming." But may we be a people of a new age that results from following this God-man Jesus, who longs to turn the world upside down. Blessed are you. Blessed are you. Blessed are you. Blessed are you. Jesus tells us, "Blessed are you." May it be so.
Amen.
Thanks be to God.